Hello everybody, this is Ian Austin with my breakdown for AEW Full Gear 2025, the card. I'll probably be reviewing the actual thing tomorrow after I've seen it, but I'm really pumped for this. It's my first proper AEW PPV watched sequentially on TV in ages. I know it sounds weird, but prior to this point I wasn't really paying for them. I sort of was, but it was always delayed, but now I'm really bang for things. I'm getting back into AEW, and this card looks amazing. By the way, I want to say that these images were via cagematch.com. You should definitely go on the site. Yes, the fan base can be a bit annoying at times, but in general, it's a great site for wrestling statistics. A review site is more whatever. I don't really care about the numbers that people give matches. I just like knowing how many 5-star matches, for example, they have from Dave Meltzer. And anyway, let's get cracking with the review. Or some. Right, so this first match is my most anticipated match on the show, Jon Moxley versus Kyle O'Reilly, because my god, these guys are having a really good feud. I think Jon Moxley's best feud in ages, and it's really putting Kyle O'Reilly over strong, and also playing that Orange Cassidy thing for like, he's allowed to be a bit goofy, but in ring, he's an actual killer. I suppose it comes like Kurt Angle too, but they're doing such a great job, and it's such a simple, brilliant beard, you know? Wearing Carl has had his number every step of the way, but we have his number in the No Holds Barred match, where it's just him versus Mott's. And is Mott's at danger of risking his leadership of Death Riders? There's lots riding on this match, and I think in terms of in-ring action and crowd response, one, I'd open the show with this, and two, I think it might be the best match on the show. But at the same time, Carl doesn't lose anything if he loses, because he's already been elevated by Jon Moxley, who I'm pretty sure this feud must be his idea. But yep, I'm pumped for this, although I'm expecting Cole to win. So Pac vs. Darby Allin's had a fascinating rivalry and beating match, because Pac has already set Darby on fire and thrown him off a frigging raised stage for a table on the ramp. So them having single match is fascinating, but it's also intriguing, because Pat's basically said, I beat you at your game, now I'm going to beat you at my game. And Pac is really rising up the card. I've said for years I think that Pac wasn't reutilised as much in AEW as I'd like, but now it's clear the symbolism for this entire character for him seems to be him taking over the Death Riders from Jon Moxley and re-rising up the card. And the idea of Pac versus Moxley is incredible. And Pac rising up the card and maybe finally getting the AEW title would be awesome, because there's a lot you can do with Pac in that position. So, I mean, and also, I don't know how Darby's going to die in this match, but it's going to be brutal. So the intrigue about this match is not just a Young Bucks going to turn face, because they're teasing it strongly. It's Jack Perry going to turn bad guy again, and also it's Josh Alexander versus Kenny Omega, because that's a match that Josh Alexander has wanted for years, and it's becoming one of the rare times Kenny Omega wrestles, because he's doing less and less of it because obviously his body's beat up. But he's phenomenal in these sort of 6-man matches, party matches, I guess you can say. And also, I really like the idea of the money involvement of them, because it gives the matches a stake and plays into the Young Bucks we're poor and broke thing. And it just creates connective tissue between these matches, which are more PWG based than anything, where it's just hey, just have an awesome match. But there's some cool storyline stuff here. I'm intrigued to see where Jurassic Express goes after this, because I think they kind of need to move on now. But it depends on whether Jack Perry turns heel again, I guess. Right. So there was some talk online about this 4-way tag match. No, it should be for the titles, but I kind of like AEW really going the whole way and having a cool little idea, which is the 4-way tag match to steps for a semi-final match, which adds a bit of intrigue. And also, I think it's nice way of getting all these teams in the same match at the same time. I mean, one could say that you could have had finals on this show, and maybe you could have, but I don't think that's an issue. Or you could have had this match be for the titles, but I think that kind of undermines the tournament. And I think you do have trust at this point AEW has planned, because a lot of stuff they've been paying off recently has been stuff which is built over a longer period, and they must have an idea for something. And also you have to remember that there are multiple feuds in this match that could use a decent blow-off. In the semi-finals is quite a cool way of doing that. So I'm intrigued. I'm surprised Athena and Mercedes didn't make this far though. Okay, this match I'm goddamn hyped for, the National Title Casino Gauntlet match, because firstly, that's yeah. Firstly, because I really want to see Lashley versus Benjamin, because I think they've both been incredible in AEW, and Benjamin's really rising up card. Secondly, we always get some cool little, not random, but like guest appearances in these sort of matches. And at the same time, I think this is the time pull trigger on Benjamin. I think it's time, even if it's just for 3 or 4 weeks, like Dustin had the TNT title. I think he's earned this because he's been incredible in AEW. And I think it's also lovely, the idea of the Hurt Business. They'll fight, but they'll be friends afterwards. I think that's a really cool idea. It'd be interesting to see how that plays out. And after that amazing super kick to Mike Bailey on Dynamite, give it Benjamin. Okay, so this match I'm really intrigued for. Kyle Fletcher versus Mark Briscoe. Because on one hand, Briscoe's more than earned a TNT title match, but on the other hand, I think it's a bit like when Moxley and Dan Bryan teamed up in 2022 to form Blackpool Combat Club. That wasn't the original plan, but I think there's so much mileage you can do with Mark Briscoe for the Don Callis family. Really, really good mileage you can get out of that, and I think you've got to kind of run with it, because that is months and months of cool storylines you can get out of that. And Briscoe as a face/heel hybrid would be fantastic. So I definitely think you should go for that. I also think Kyle Fletcher's not ready to drop the title yet. He's been exceptional, but I think you get a lot more mileage out of him as champion. And I also think if he's going to lose, you need to build him up in card a bit. But despite his incredible match with Hangman Page a few months ago, I think you just keep him here for now until space on top. So I think FTR has to win this. I don't necessarily want them to, because I've sort of gone off FTR. I think they hit their peak with Tully Blanchard when they were literally best tag team on planet. But I think Brodido, I don't think they've run their course, but I think they've done all they can at this particular stage of like tag title run. And it'd be interesting to see what happens after they lose titles and where Brody King decides he wants the ROH title. So that'd be a cool thing. I think it'll be a really good match. If they want Brody to win, that's awesome, because they are a really good team. But I think FDR probably have a bit more mileage they can get out of. And try and think who FDR faced if they're champs. Probably Jurassic Express, actually. That'd be quite a good mini rivalry. So yeah, I presume FDR will win. So here's my problem with this match. I'm not going to say Mercedes can't wrestle, because she can. And I mean, it probably makes sense to give it gold, because then she'll have even more titles. And I think I kind of like the idea someone put out online of like her getting past 17 titles at one time, just to be like the always seen 17 sort of thing, which is a great idea. But I can't want Chris Statlander to win, because I feel like Mercedes, I don't know. I mean, it'll be a really good match anyway. But I think you probably, and I think this when Bryan Danielson and Hangman Page fight in 2022, your title should probably be on your top star in your division, and that is Mercedes. And I'm sure Chris could get something out of it. I suppose it depends on whether they have a long-term plan for someone to finally beat Mercedes, but it'll be a good match anyway, so. Again, come to what I presume being main event. Here's the thing. I kind of could go either way of this. Hangman's had good reign, but I think he is best as like the chaser. Joe's already won title, so he doesn't need to win it again. But if he loses this match, does he lose something? I don't know if he does, because I think Joe's resilient enough where he could bounce back. I think if you want to keep the streak of Hangman in Cage, Page and Cage going, he should probably win. But then it's kind of like, who's going to challenge him? I suppose maybe Swerve, because they could have that big match with those two. Yeah, I'd probably assume Hangman wins. I think it's going to be really, really violent. I suppose the only other option is if Hangman feels such remorse for his violence, he doesn't pull the trigger like Ospreay did last year for Type Driver and loses because of that. You can probably go with Joe for a while as champ. I don't think it's a long-term option, but it would be cool to see him as champ again. I mean, he's done some really good work and he's very credible. I suppose the other thing is MJF. How's MJF going to factor into this? So, because he hates both guys. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But I think it's going to be a really good card regardless. So, pump.